Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Weebs Return podcast, episode 3. I'm your host, Last, with.
Nin, and today we're going to be covering Bungou Stray Dogs. How you doing, Les? It's been a while. We haven't done last week or the
I'm,
week before.
I'm doing good. So, Nin, give me your
Yeah.
first impressions of the anime.
Okay, so to clarify, I am new to Bungo Stray Dogs. Nin, last, he's not. He's already watched the anime before, way back in the day. So he's he's the expert and I'm the newbie in this situation. So he's asking for my thoughts. My thoughts is very simple. Like this anime, when I started it out, right, I first went to go look up the synopsis. Now, one of the synopses said that this is a story based off of real life named authors, and their powers are like the names, like the powers are based off of the books that these authors have read. Did you know that, last?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Because like when I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, that makes sense. That is so true. Because if you think about it, at the very in like episode 10, when this new villain was introduced, Francis F from the guild, right? His name is Francis Scott F in real life,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
he has written the book The Great Gatsby. Have you ever heard of that book?
no, I haven't because I just went right into the anime.
Say again.
I just went directly into the anime.
Okay. Just to clarify, this is what it was based off of. I found that very interesting. So I looked up everyone we introduced and their names. Like Nakajima Atsushi, the main character that we get introduced in the very beginning of this anime. He's based off of the author that wrote Moonlight Between the Mountains, something like that, which is
Oh,
Atsushi's powers, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, and the Kunikida Doppo, Doppo poet, right? That's his ability's name, right?
The Very Beast Tiger form? Yes, it is.
Yes, that's no. Kunikida, the blonde haired dude with books,
Oh,
ideal.
Kuniki, that.
Yeah,
Anything he writes in the book comes true. Yep.
yeah. That's also based off of Kunikida Doppo's actual work. If you know, they're like they his power is based off of his book that he's poet, this poem that he wrote, Doppo poet.
Damn.
Yeah,
Didn't know any of this.
yeah, I didn't even know either. I just looked it up after finding out the names are based off actual authors because it makes sense. In the English name for this anime, it's Literary Stray Dogs.
So basically, it ties the knot.
Exactly. So for like this anime is in my opinion is just an okay anime, but for those who are like book nerds, bookworms that like just read all sorts of literacy in both Japan and all around the world, um, this would be like the best anime they've ever seen because they're all literally based off of real life people. Even Osamu Dazai and uh, Rampo. They were all based off of that. Was such an interesting discovery on my part, at least.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so then, let's
Mm.
get back to the main first character,
Yeah. Yeah.
Atsushi.
Okay.
What's the
Before we get into the actual anime, I need to find out from you, what did you dislike about the anime? That I want to know first before I get into why.
uh
What did you dislike about the
it,
anime?
okay, so basically anime took it slow. It took its time towards getting to
Mm.
the main plot twist of why Atsushi is
Mm.
Atsushi and what's the reason behind everything that he's going through his life.
Mm.
And
Mm.
the other second thing I found so annoying is that half of the season is that Atsushi knows he can use his powers, but he doesn't. He's afraid, but he then uses it. That doesn't make sense in a way.
Yeah,
I don't
I also
know.
felt that when he goes up against Akutagawa. Now, for listeners who have never watched this anime and or have watched this anime, Akutagawa is supposedly the main antagonist throughout the first half of the anime. A new antagonist gets introduced like every time. I say antagonist and not villain because this is not a shonen. I only discovered that afterwards. I didn't know this was not a shonen. I thought this was a shonen anime.
How about we say rivals? I mean, that
Are they
sounds more.
though? Because one is a criminal organization and the other is an armed detective agency.
Right. You okay? So since Nin hasn't watched anything, and we'll stick to season one only basis, so nothing
Yes,
is
yes.
gonna be.
This is mostly for you. Okay, last.
Yeah.
It's mostly for you
Yes.
to stick to season
So
one. Yeah. Okay, so
so we're gonna
season.
be
Uh,
sticking to rivals in a way. In a way, they're rivals. I'm going to say rivals. You can say antagonist. Fine.
you see, saying rivals now puts them in a puts the organize this criminal organization in a different light because they don't show that they don't put them in a different light in the anime. But I digress. We'll get into the meat of the anime. Starting off, the first episode was really interesting because I watched the first episode first, and
Mhm.
being introduced to Atsushi, the main character, right? You get introduced to Atsushi and Dazai and Kunikida at first. But the first thing we
Yes.
found about Dazai is that he's a suicide maniac, which is the weirdest character trait I've ever heard of. A suicide maniac.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Did you not find it weird? Or was it just me?
I found it weird when the guy is standing near the pool and he's thinking about, I want to eat something at the same time he's talking about, hey, my life was so torturous, so I don't know why.
I know that was
Atsushi.
okay. This is another thing that I felt from the first episode is that there's a weird tonal whiplash, because then you get in while he's complaining about wanting to eat and being poor and everything, in a very funny manner, he gets flashbacks to like his torturous life in the orphanage, and then back to this, and then back to that. Is like, okay, which do you want to stick with? Do you want this to be funny? Comedy, or do you want this to be serious? It's a weird tonal whiplash at the beginning. I got used to it.
Yeah.
The story gets a bit better with them balancing comedy and seriousness as they go on. Now I'm
Mm.
comparing this like comedy and this balance of comedy and seriousness to One Piece, because
Please,
they're able to balance One Piece is able to balance comedy and seriousness at times really well.
bruh, bruh, Oda is a genius. As much as I've been a criticism of One Piece, this is not One Piece. Just gonna say, Oda takes the slightest things and makes them major.
Yeah,
This is not Oda's
this
work, please,
this
no.
is yeah this is not no. The thing is, that's my rating scale. Okay, if it's 0 to 1 piece, I got this from someone else, but I'm gonna say it's mine as well. Um, it's 0 to 1 piece. So if it's One Piece level, then that means it's really good. But this is not. Um, but
Okay.
I'll explain as why when we further go on. And this first episode is sort of start off as a mystery because we get introduced, we get told about a were tiger, number one. Then we get told about we're not a were tiger. We get told about a man eating tiger that hasn't really eaten another human. And then this interaction between Dazai, Kunikida, and Atsushi, their first all three interactions, it's very comical because you can see the relationship between Kunikida and Dazai. What did you think of that when you first watched the episode last?
In all honesty, I thought you wanted to kill Dazai. Seriously.
I mean, you would
Like,
like that, wouldn't you?
I would.
No,
Not
he
gonna
would
lie,
like that.
Dazai does.
Hmm?
Yes, I would. I would like that because, like, Let me just say this. He pushes Kunikida's button to the furthest limit.
Yes, he does.
Holy
I mean, Kuriga does get him back for it, but they do push it a bit more. But then we find out at the very end of the episode, because the episodes are really, really quick. The pacing is very fast. Like you go from scene to scene to scene to scene, and then you get to the end of the episode where we find out that Achushi is that tiger, that man-eating tiger. It's a very powerful thing. And if you're an extreme fan of all sorts of novels and stories, you would have heard of Atsushi's name before, and his ability, the turning into a wolf under moonlight, something like that.
beast
Um,
beneath the moon.
Beast Beneath the Moonlight is based off of Atsushi's work, not his popular work, but one of his works, which is very interesting.
Hmm,
And
hmm,
the that transformation and that fight, the animation here was like spectacular. Bones did a really
hmm.
good job in this show with the animation, I would say. And then then we get to find out at the end of this episode Dazai's ability. Number one, goddamn, that ability is broken. I mean, outside of the world of gifteds, normal people can still beat his ass, but within gifteds, he's broken. You can't tell me that's not broken.
You know, it's giving me vibes of the magical, my magical index, where our main
It's
protagonist has a
ability, but
main
then doesn't use
protagonist
it.
has a, yeah, his left arm can know anything, magic or anything.
Yeah, but see, Dazai isn't the main character. He's the supporting character for the main supporting for the main character. Sort of. I don't know how to call that. But he's not really the main
How-
character. It's just that his ability,
Mhm.
thou shalt not die. Oh, no, what is his ability? No, that's Sasano. What's his ability again? The name?
I I really don't know. No, I didn't pay attention.
Because
I just know.
it's an ability to counter
But
other abilities. Yes, that I know that the abilities components is to counter other abilities.
hmm,
So, and when we introduced this, I found that was broken. Like in a world of gifted, like what?
oh, so basically his ability is no longer human.
Yeah, okay, no longer human. Yeah, yeah. That's also based off of Dazai Osamu's work. Osamu Dazai's work. The author I'm talking about. And
Hmm.
the ability to counter other abilities. I say that's broken because who can beat him in the world of abilities? Ability users. Then again, they do use guns in this anime, so he can still be shot to death. He's not completely invincible.
But he's smart.
Yes, yes, he is smart, but he doesn't really need to use much effort against ability users. He just has to fight them hand to hand. I guess that's why he trained in martial arts, because that's all he can do, from what I've gathered in the first season.
Hmm.
Then, okay, so episode 2 and 3, I'm gonna combine them together because I watched them together. 2 is when he gets introduced to everyone in the agency, and they have a little test. I immediately thought, oh, this is a test. This is 100% a test because this the opening spoils it, and I think anime's openings do this a lot. They spoil things in the opening. You know why?
No, I don't think the opening did spoil it.
It did, because Tanizaki, that character, is also in the trailer, and he's not shown as a villain in the trailer. So
Damn, I
yeah,
didn't notice that, but I didn't think it would spoil anything.
yeah, it did. Sort of like the mystery to that was spoiled a little bit, so that's why I'm like, okay, okay, fine. Anyway,
Hmm.
um, now this little test in that episode was fine, and an interesting way to introduce the other characters into this Tanizaki character into
Hmm.
Bungo Stray Dogs. Though where things changed for me and like opened my eyes for this anime was episode 3. I came to episode 3 and like everything was set up. So yes, the beginning does set everything up. If you recall episode 3, you know what episode I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, you're talking about Yokohama Gangster Paradise, right?
No.
That's episode 3.
That's the name of the episode?
Yeah, Yokohama Gangster Paradise.
Ah, okay. Really? Okay. Because it's episode 3 when Akutagawa attacks them, right?
Yeah, Akutagawa attacks
Yes,
someone named
yes.
Akutagawa, a member of the Port Mafia. Yeah.
Yes, so they mentioned him in the beginning of the episode, saying if you run into this guy, like stay away from him or something like that. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, 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 okay. So he's gonna show up in this episode at some point, even though you're mentioning
At the
him.
same
Huh?
hmm. At the
So
same time, Jirichiro's ability has also been shown in this in the episode. Light show,
yes,
light to
yeah,
know.
light snow. Okay, firstly, when the thing that shocked me the most was when the girl pulled out two Uzis and then started blasting and at the two of them, and I was like, huh? What's happening? What? She's dead? What? Is she really dead? What is this, Attack on Titan? I was like, no, oh no, she's not dead. Oh, okay, okay, okay. It's a little too early for that. And then I was like, this man Tanizaki. He used his light show ability, and then started choking the girl. And I was like, what am I watching? Holy shit! And what is this redo healer? What happened here?
At the same time, let's clarify this thing: they're brothers and sisters. Yet the sister is obsessed with them like a couple.
Okay, yeah, that okay. That was a bit weird. We're seeing some Sweet Home Alabama moves right here, but it's not. I don't think is that like that. Maybe she just really loves her brother a little too much. But okay.
Oh no, 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 no,
It's just
no.
yeah. But that scene with the two of them, not the two of them, but with the blonde chick Higuchi and Tanizaki choking her, I was like, whoa. The tone just shifted into a different direction here. It was completely different tone shift here. And then he gets attacked in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, he's also dead. What is this anime? They're just dying left and right. And I almost said, right, I was getting Akamega Kill vibes. And if you watched Akamega
You
Kill,
too?
you know what I'm talking about.
You too? Yes, you too?
Yes, I was getting
Oh,
those vibes. I was like, this better not be an Akamega Kill, or else I'm dropping this show and we're not doing this podcast. We're doing something else. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay, thank God. No, it's not a mega kill. Not everyone dies, and then we left with just Ashishi at the end. So, which is good, which is good.
that is true. Plus, we have a nurse that brings them back to health.
I know when we get introduced to her ability in like episode 8 or 9, I can't remember. And her ability is she can heal any wound or cure any illness, but they have to be in like terminal. They have to be close to death before she can treat them, which is like, oh my god.
But,
That is a good.
but,
Mm, say go ahead.
but,
Go ahead.
but she uses it in a very perversive way. I'm not gonna
I
say it,
know
but
she does. She does in a very So, but she does at the same time. God, that is a very annoying ability, but to have you can heal any injury and disease and whatnot, but they have to be near death for you to do anything, which is which is actually a good thing. Another thing that I was like on the fence about in this anime, right,
hmm,
was that neither of the abilities have drawbacks. Now I'm a huge fan of One Piece, and One Piece, whenever they introduce an ability to a
hmm,
character, there's some sort of
hmm.
drawback. Like, okay, where are you in One Piece right now?
I'm actually in the arc where they defeated one of the other warlords. That is, what's his name? The Shadow Warlord who uses the Shadow
Moria.
fruit.
Okay, so you've already finished Ennis lobby. Okay, we're not gonna discuss Ennis lobby. We'll
Bruh,
discuss that next week. Next week. Um,
bruh, please, please. I'm like, you
I
know
know.
what? With the latest manga, it all makes sense. Everything Luffy has done, it
Okay,
makes
okay, okay,
sense.
okay, okay. Like I said, we'll
We're going off
discuss that.
topic.
Yeah, we'll discuss that
We're
in
going
the
off
next
topic.
episode. Um, but what I was gonna be saying about Ennis lobby, when Luffy gets Gear Second, he has an immediate drawback to Gear Second. He can't continuously use Gear Second, like with Gear Third as well. When you use Gear Third, you can't continuously use Gear Third. There's a drawback, which is good. It adds tension to the story. And I was thinking, okay, none of these characters have drawbacks. Turns out, no, they do. Each character does have a drawback. Dazai can only
Yes, well,
create objects in a small notebook, but it has to be the size of that notebook, because of the size of the paper,
not
right?
Dazai. That's not Dazai.
Yeah. No, sorry. That's
That's
Kunikida.
Kunikida.
Kunikida. My bad. That's Kunikida. Rampo doesn't even have an ability, but he just pretends he does have an ability. Um, and Tanizaki, we haven't really gotten a drawback to his ability yet. I'm still confused about his ability. Um, and then also with the character that we just saw now, what is his name? The Kenji. He also has an ability like superhuman, but is that what's the drawback to superhuman? You know what I mean?
Understood. But I
So,
mean, it's already explained. Like for example, for Jurichiro, if you look at the anime, his
mm,
drawback is his sister. So if anything happens to his sister,
but that's not really a drawback
basically
to
he
create tension for the fight. Say if he mastered his ability of light snow, right? And I'm assuming it's to create a wall of illusions, sort of, kind of like from, if you've watched Naruto. Have you seen Naruto? Right? You've seen Naruto, right?
yeah, I see
Yeah.
Naruto.
So like in the beginning of Naruto, in the land of the waves, when Naruto and Sasuke were fighting against Haku, remember Haku? And she had the multiple mirrors, and they were jumping through the different mirrors, and she was attacking them,
Bruh,
sort of like
I
that.
thought Haku was a girl. Shut
Huh?
up.
Say again?
I thought Haku was a girl.
Yeah, everyone did. The first trap in anime. But like that ability she had, right? Something similar to that, right? That's what his ability is. Light snow.
Yes, but like
Y-
you have to keep in mind that they are humans in a way. So basically,
yes, they can still get
if any
shot.
like,
They can still get shot, and
hmm,
they can still get killed.
yes, and
Mm,
that's the reason. Also have other reasons as well. For example, for Daza is that his ability is completely useless until there's a gift. Atsushi has
yes.
to deal with mental trauma, or
But like,
otherwise
okay,
he can use.
besides that, okay, if he back, okay, all right, you were saying?
So basically, you gotta keep in mind is that Daza's abilities is only works at if he has a
Yes,
gifted.
yeah.
Atsushi,
Mm-mm.
Atsushi mental block trauma, and for Jirichiro it's his sister. So let's
Yeah,
just
but
say the Port Mafia gets his. Yes.
yeah, okay, but like yes, but that's not a weakness to him. His weakness, yeah, can you say okay, but that's not a drawback to his ability, because we just see his ability being able to create illusions, right?
Yes, that's
He
true.
could just make it an illusion that they took his sister, and he can take his sister back.
That's true. That's another thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by a drawback to his powers itself. Dazai, he needs a drawback because he can only counter gifteds. But if the gifted uses martial arts, like to fight him hand to hand, or uses a gun, he's screwed. Atsushi, in his him not being able to transform, is a bit weird, but they haven't really given him like fully explained his abilities. What's the extent of his strength? What's the extent of stuff like that? So that when they fight, it makes a little more sense. And we're gonna get to that fight. Okay, so
Hmm.
We did episode three. Episode three was a bit. It was all over the place. Uh, them fighting, and then me thinking they're dead, because I was about to drop the anime because I thought they were all dead. Turns out no, they're not dead, which is good. Which is good. That's fine. We have characters. If you're gonna kill them all off, then where's the characters? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So, episode four rolls around, and it's an episode where this was such a really overly complicated episode, and like I knew this is where I felt a little drag from the episode, because now Kunikira's telling him, oh, you have to find out what you can do or something like that, and they're gonna be raided by the port mafia and whatnot, and then he chooses to leave, right, and without even telling anybody, just chooses to leave, and he walks down a couple of steps down the street, and then they get attacked. Now I knew they were going to be able to defend themselves. We haven't seen the capabilities at this point, at least we haven't seen all the capabilities of the other members of uh
Mm,
the armed detective agency,
that's
because
true.
we haven't seen any of their abilities. It was a bit weird that they dragged this episode on for a little longer than I thought it would go on. You know what I mean?
But if you look at it, it was a good way to
To
understand the characters in a way,
yes,
how to
it
develop.
well
Plus, we also
understand
learned one trait.
we
Plus, we learned
understand.
one more important.
So
Mhm.
go
You
ahead, go
understand
ahead.
what? So basically, we understand one more important thing is that this thing has already happened. As Konikita said, it's to Asushi, it's just a normal thing. You know,
Um,
it all has happened before.
yes, but that's the thing. We don't get an understanding of any of the other characters, but Atsushi's character, yes, because we spend so much time on Atsushi, and we get to see that same backstory play over and over.
Mm.
Does it get this? Then again, this is only in anime. If I was reading the manga of this, they wouldn't be playing that same backstory over and over and over again. You know what I mean? That would get
I agree.
I got sick of the same backstory, like, oh, you are worthless. You think there's no one who will accept you. Stop crying or something like that. I was like, okay, I've seen that already. Something else, please. That's why I said it feel like dragging this episode on. Because,
Just like Midori. Right?
mm, yes, just like Midoriya Garai. Now, I don't hate Boku no Hero, okay? I just don't like Crybaby Heroes. Is why I don't watch
I
Tokyo
mean, Boku
Revengers.
no Hero right now, I agree. Boku no Hero back in the starting, not
No,
so much.
not so much. I mean, I did enjoy Boku no Hero season one back when I watched it way back in the day.
No.
Mostly because of All Might's fight at the end. That I absolutely loved.
It's just like the episode of School Days. You're just waiting for the knife scene.
Yeah, but it does get really interesting. The thing is, okay, the reason I started to hate Crybaby Heroes is because of Tokyo Revengers. Have you seen Tokyo Revengers? The very popular
Yeah,
anime.
Takamichi. Yeah. Yep.
Takemichi. Oh, I hate Takemichi. Okay, I know I'm not the only one that hates Takemichi. He,
No, I kind of like Takamichi for some reason.
I hate him so much because, I didn't even finish Tokyo Revengers. He annoyed me to such a level. I was like, oh, never mind. I'm not gonna
But
continue.
if you look at it, he was a nobody. He doesn't has anything.
And
It's
he's
a
still a
pretty much a
nobody.
real life.
He's still a nobody. Okay, stop. He's still a nobody in my eyes. He doesn't grow.
Not at the end of the anime.
So I must wait 24 episodes for this man to man up. He's an adult in the mind of a child, and it takes 20
Oh, you
episodes to grow
no,
up.
you haven't, bruh. You haven't read the manga yet. It
Yeah,
takes more than that
I know. Oh my god.
to
Thing is, there's other interesting characters around Takemichi, Mikey and stuff like that.
Mikey,
The
Draken.
dragon, they're more interesting to watch, not Takemichi. It's the thing is why I'm
It,
so annoyed. Okay, the reason I'm so annoyed is simple. This man is an adult talking to little children in his eyes. He's 20 something. These guys are all in their teens. Yes, they're taller than him, but you're scared of them? What? I get you in the
you,
body of your younger self, but like, you're an adult. You've been in the adult world. These kids haven't. Yes, they gangsters, but oh my god.
Even the
They,
side chick has more funk, you know?
huh?
The side, like Hinata being the heroine of the story.
Yeah. Even she has better character. And the thing is, the reason. Okay, before we get off too far off topic, I'm gonna clarify this head down. The thing is, the anime is about going back in time into your younger self's body, right? That him
Yes.
being an adult in the future never be utilized. I haven't seen it once in the anime utilized because you're going back in time from a future that is different from yours, and it's a long future, mind you. So
What
there's a
about
lot of
Steins Gate?
thing. Huh?
What about Steins Gate? It did use that.
I don't watch Steins Gate, so I don't know. Um,
Oh, come on, you're missing out the best timeline. Okay,
I know I will watch Steins Gate someday, but the thing is, he never utilizes the knowledge of the future that he has in the past. He seems like someone that would do that. If I was him in his shoes, I would do that. I would go into my younger self, smack myself, and do something different. If you could go to your middle school self, would you do something different, right? With the future knowledge that you have.
yo, yo, invest in Bitcoin. Invest in Bitcoin. Start TikTok. You know, just do that shit. Not gonna lie. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
you're in school, nigga. What are you gonna do, huh? You're in school, okay?
Okay, before anyone says this, Qayyum, or sorry, Nin here is from South Africa, so he can use the N word. I can't. So white boy cannot use a privileged word. Sorry.
Oh my god, why did you have to add that in? Okay, I might cut that out. Anyway, we're back to the anime. Back to the anime. Um, so where were we?
We're on episode 5.
Yes, so episode 5 mostly discusses you get to see Rampo in action, which was interesting. He seems more like a Sherlock type character. And the author did write mystery stories, mystery and thriller type stories, which would use
Okay.
deduction abilities. So again,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have an ability, but his deduction is so good it might be considered even ability. So that was a very interesting little episode. Now, episodes 6, 7, and 8. Skip.
Oh,
There
this is the
is
episode, right?
yes. Okay, so a reason why I'm saying skip, right, is simple. They forget the main story that's going on in the background and focus on something completely different. They forget that the Pov Mafia is after Atsushi like for like 3 episodes straight. Because they said they're gonna be coming after him now that he knows it. They now that know he's at the armed agency and the 7 billion is on his head, so they're gonna be coming more aggressively at him. No, after Black Lizard, never again. I was like, what happened?
Hmm.
No, wait,
It's
the
like
Port Mafia go in those 3 episodes?
it's like they it's like they got the biggest amnesia or the biggest Mandela effect of all time.
I know. Well, not a that's not a Mandela effect, dude. That's not what a Mandela effect means. It- okay, that's not what it means. Um, Evan.
I'm fine.
Okay. But um they forget that the main plot is still going on. Now I know it's to characterize Kinikida and Dazai being a team and to get more characterization from Rampo and so on and so forth, right? But what's ridiculous, right, is only in episode 8 when the focus is on Akiku do they go back to the whole Port Mafia storyline. It's such a weird thing that they took a break. It's like there was a filler episode in a 12 episode anime. So weird, man. It's so weird.
But if you look at it, I kind of liked it because, like, in a way, it kind of gave us a brief overview of everybody's characters and how to be pacing them. It was a really fun way of telling the characters and how they were in their natural settings. Come on, you gotta be saying that it's worse, better than 86 pacing. I'm not just gonna lie.
Okay, yeah, but the thing is, 86 did skip a couple of days ahead and forgets major important information. But um, yeah, they said they were going to attack him more aggressively. Like the poured mafia. Like I'm saying, you had a plot line set out. You forget it for a couple of episodes. I mean, you can have them constantly attack Ajushi and still build characters from Kunikida and Dazai and Rampo by having those be helping Ajushi and getting him acquainted with everything. So
But
on.
you didn't know that we found out that Dazai had a relationship in the Port Mafia
Yes,
in that
yeah.
episode.
No, you find that out in episode 3. They call him an ex-executive in Port Mafia. Remember?
Yes,
Akutagawa called him that. So that's why it's like when I was watching these episodes, I'm like, okay, is this a storyline of its own? It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. The storyline is not bad. It just seems inconsistent is the word I'm trying to use because as you're watching this as a show and now you come every week to see okay what's the next part of the storyline and they tell you no, wait wait for 3 episodes and then come back a week to to get back into the show, you know what I mean?
I mean that I agree. But let me be fairly honest with you. I'm not gonna do anything. The issues that you're addressing in the first season are going to be not going to be in the second and third season because
I
they take a
Yeah,
really good approach
I know, but
into it.
that's what I'm saying. Stick with the first season's point of view. Like you've only seen the first season and you don't remember the second or third season. Like that. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Stick with the
in
first
a
seasons.
in a way, it's a really good story, but the first season has a lot of problems in it.
Yes, yeah, and it does. I know it might get fixed in the second season, but I'm only rating this based off its first season alone, right? It's because you can rate each season separately. So I'm rating and I'm judging this based off its first season and all the information we get from the first season alone. Yes, you can look at the manga and read straight through, but the first seasons, all the information that we get in the first season is what I'm going off by. And the only
Yeah,
thing
it's
we
kind
get
of like a
introduced is the two factions. We get introduced to the faction of Port Mafia, the Armed Detective Agency, and the Guild at the very end, which seems a bit quick, in my opinion.
yeah. I totally agree. The reason is that they should have kept it a little more secretive. Like they
Uh,
should have been giving hints around the entire series, like who did the bounty. But like they
mm,
just cleared that within just one episode. Like
yes,
this is the organization.
exactly. The whole that whole mystery with starting off with episode 9 in like episode 8, 9, and 10, where at the beginning they capture most they capture Dazai, right? The girl captured Dazai, and he expected to get captors to find out what the bounty was, and then they attack Atsushi and Sasuno, Akiku. I'm just gonna call her Akiku. They attack the two of them in a train with bombs and whatnot, and we get to see Akiku's ability, which is really cool ability, but also very annoying because you can't really heal. You have to take so much damage before you can heal yourself. A really weird ability, but they have the interaction, and this scene, okay, was the weirdest and confusing scene in the whole show. Why did he press the button?
I don't I don't know.
I'd like he gets the control from Izumi, and then he presses the button. I'm like, why did you press the button? And then it starts ticking down the clock. I'm like, why did you press the button? What did you think it was gonna do?
They- I, I think he thought that yeah,
It would
it was a
deactivate it?
dud.
No, what?
Yeah.
But she was going to suicide bomb herself. Why did you press the button? She gave him the remote control, and he presses the button. I was like, why did you press the button? What did you think was gonna happen? The bomb is not gonna be activated until you press the damn button. It's a remote activated. They say that. I was like, what is happening? And then she jumps out of the window and pushes him back, and then he jumps out of the train to save her into the river. And I was like, what? I get the scene, but like this doesn't make any sense. Why did he press the button in the first place if it was gonna blow up?
I think like brain. I think dead brain cells due to
I
some dead brain cells and
I don't know the writer. I don't know what he did here. This was so confusing, cause he got the remote. There's only one button on that remote, and then he pressed it.
coming back. Exactly, that's the thing about the first season that it does not understand, does not like how should I say? It does not create a boundary line between comedy and seriousness,
But like that wasn't
and
even
it kind of
a comedic moment. That was supposed to be like super serious, and then the two of them are bonding each other's character, Izumi and they were supposed to bond
okay. So
together.
how about this?
Again,
The
again,
writer
again. This is only season one.
again.
He
How
might
about
get better
this?
with
The
his
writer
writing.
was thinking.
Mhm.
So how about this? The writer was thinking, like like, this is kind of obvious. Let me do something different that half someone else is off guard. He thought, okay, this should be a good comedic moment.
But
He
like
would say,
it's not really a funny moment. I don't know what would the job be here. Again, that was such a confusing moment, and then the ending of that moment was him her looking at him being glad she's okay, and I was like, okay, did you want this payoff? See, my point is he wanted that payoff, right? But then he did something so confusing and nonsensical to get that payoff, which is weird. Very weird. He might improve later down the line in newer seasons, but that was such a confusing thing. I cannot look past that. It's-
oh boy.
yeah, is no. But I digress. The moment ends, even though it was so confusing and in
Mm.
reality really bad and inconsistent because it didn't make any sense for him to press the damn button. But that doesn't matter because we get to the next scene and we find out that she didn't really want to do any of this. Her ability works in a really strange ways that it only works through someone giving orders through a phone. Then the ability activates, sort of.
Geniuses sort of. That is
Is
in
it?
a way it does, but it not does. But no. I'm talking strictly based on the first season.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's my
Keep that.
basic.
Keep that. Keep that. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Keep.
that's the first season. So basically, it her ability does work, but not works. I think it's due to the fact that she thinks that Octagon was a threat. That's the reason that she follows him, and that's the reason that the shadow
That
works.
works.
The
Okay.
phone,
But so it's through the phone still. It will only be through the phone that her ability works. Correct.
yes. If Octagawa gives her the order, then yes.
Okay. Interesting. I guess that's what you get. Anyway, they have a little chat and they're asking her questions, and then things happen, and then he takes her on a little date, which was interesting. I don't know why, but I don't know how they bonded so quickly. This whole section, it was nice. It was sweet and cute, but
Was she the next potential waifu for Atsushi?
that's what I'm saying. She seems like she's gonna turn into one. So for
Well,
me,
what's her age? What what's her age? Com-
again, I don't know. don't. What's Atsushi's age, huh? What's Atsushi's age? We
Let me
didn't get
ask.
his name. We didn't get Atsushi's age.
Wait, let me check Atsushi's age.
They might reveal it in the next season or so, but like they never really
No, they
gave us.
might.
So
Nah, they don't.
they don't.
They're
Okay,
not gonna.
that's fine. But what this whole section concludes is him getting captured. This man gets stabbed straight to the heart, and he lives. Again, okay, this is what I want to talk about before we get to the fight between Akutagawa and Atsushi. The Octagawa's ability, Rashomon. Um, what is its drawbacks? Because they show
Oh, so they,
they show him coughing.
yeah.
This is a rhetorical question. Don't answer it. I'm just asking. What is his
Uh,
drawbacks? Because he's coughing
so,
every time. So.
so basically, his drawbacks of his ability is that it puts too much strain on his body. So basically, Rashomon is like an extension of his body. So if anything happens to
Uh,
Rashomon, he feels the pain as
as
well.
well, okay. But he also has something similar to Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen,
Yes,
with the
Rashomon
infinity.
is like yes, Rashomon is like an extension of a shield and a weapon, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's also his drawback. It puts strain on his body. His body is weak and frail, as we've
Mm-hmm.
seen in the first season how Dazai is treating, like Akutagawa got the flashback. We got shot that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So
Oh,
that's sort of his.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing, interesting. So Ashoshi's age is 18, and her age is 14.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. We'll leave that alone then. Anyway, moving on.
I,
Moving on. Uh, okay, so the fight between Azushi and Ra- Akutagawa, their fight again was interesting because he was using his ability, both his legs and arms, being in like beast form as he was jumping around and attacking. Was very interesting, and it was a good choreographed fight. Bones did a great job animating again, and there's not much I really have to say about this fight. It was good. That's about it. And
But
yeah,
I do have some reservations with the fight itself.
I
Reason being is that
oh, you have one. Okay, go
number
ahead.
one,
Go ahead.
number one, basically we got to see Atsushi's abilities or something. The
Mm-mm.
thing with Atsushi's ability is that he can construct his half of his body into a were tiger.
Mm-mm.
Why didn't Atsushi did that before? I mean, basically, why didn't he use his hand before to deflect it? As Octagawa says, you can cut through anything, you can repel through anything. And
Mm-mm.
it's been shown that the Rashomon does not work on him. So
Mm-mm.
if the Rashomon ever came back, Atsushi can just touch his hand and can reflect it back.
That is
Why?
true, but that's the thing. We throughout the anime, he wasn't using his ability. That's why I said skip those 3 episodes because he's not really important there. And throughout the anime, he doesn't really know how to use his abilities. Again, I feel like it's an ass pull as they call it when the character just pulls out the ability out of nowhere, even though he was struggling to use it. I do think Atsushi was doing that a lot, pulling out the ability out of nowhere, and then at this fight he was being like in full
Not
control of it.
necessarily.
Mm?
Okay, so basically, one thing with Atsushi is that I think that holds him back is I think he knows the abilities, just like when Daza in the first season, he was
Yeah,
telling you are the way. He may know the ability, but he's too scared of it because he thinks about his past life.
that's
That's
true.
the reason.
That could be, it could be like mental block,
Because
but then he
it
was
was
using
being
it, yeah,
revealed.
so easily in this fight.
Yeah, because it was being revealed that when a gifted actually finds out about his abilities or knows that he has this ability, he can use it to its full potential. He knows all the secrets. Everything is there for him. The only thing that's not laid out for him is the combination abilities that he will find that Daza explains in the first season as well.
True, true. That's very, very, very true. And yeah, I can see you having reservations for this fight and him pulling out the ability and never using it before. But you see, now that
Then,
he is using it proficiently here,
mm,
he should be using it proficiently afterwards. If he doesn't, then there's problems.
then I have a reservation in Akutagawa. The reservation is that wait, in the entire series you've been hyping this character up for so many things, but he's so
Mm-mm.
weak and frail. The thing is with Rashomon, I have
Mm,
the criticism if Rashomon is alive because he tells Rashomon is like the extension of his body. It can
mm-mm.
be used as a weapon, it can
Mm,
come alive as well. So
mm,
why didn't he use Rashomon to come alive or do it something on its own will? Or when he was
mm-mm.
unconscious, why wasn't Rashomon activated? Because it has
Mm,
a force of its own will. He
mm-mm.
tells that.
Yeah, that's true. That
What,
is
what's
true.
the bullshit?
I
That's
know.
bullshit.
again, I wasn't really paying that much attention to Rashomon so much, so I can see why. I
Yeah,
can see
I
why.
know. I know. Like he tells that my ability can go on anything. So when he knocks him out, shouldn't the ability go wild? Shouldn't he be
Exactly.
some?
Yeah, that's true. The ability should be going wild, even though he's knocked out, if it has a mind of its own, right?
Hmm,
That's true.
exactly.
That's true. I guess the fight really wanted to be over. Again,
That's the thing.
I'm seeing a pattern.
And after seeing everyone's abilities, we didn't get to see two people's abilities. Number one, the head of the armed detective agency,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
the head of the port mafia. Okay, coming back to the head of the port mafia,
Okay,
bruh,
yes,
the
okay.
way he was.
It reminds me of how Blackbeard was introduced in in One Piece, in the way that
Oh,
he was
really?
introduced. Huh?
No, 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 no. It is exactly how Whitebeard was introduced.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I say
wait,
it reminds me of that because no, not Whitebeard, Blackbeard, because there was a funny scene with
Whitebeard,
Luffy and Blackbeard eating pie and drinking like alcohol together.
and their words were the same.
Exactly. No, they Luffy liked the pie. Blackbeard didn't like the pie. Luffy liked the drink. Didn't like the drink. Blackbeard liked the drink. Something like that, right? They liked the opposite of each
No, no,
other.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. They like they said the word same.
No,
That was the
no.
thing.
It was opposite. It wasn't the same. It was opposite. One didn't like
Really?
one of the things. Yeah. People reference the scene all the time, and I know why because this is the introduction to Blackbeard, and it's funny because this is how this main villain from the head of Port Mafia is also introduced by him being all looking for the little girl who's not really his daughter, but a girl he's taking care of, or something like that, and he's all goofy and whatnot. But then he turns into he shows off his pressure, his spiritual pressure. That's his
That is
ability.
his ability.
That's his
That is his ability.
okay. Okay, again, he hasn't been. We haven't been properly shown his
No, no,
ability.
no, 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 no. His abilities are not like fully. I'm saying that's the ability of like using it like one stage. You know, like how hockey is used.
Yeah, true.
Think of
Mhm.
it like this. It's like a pressurizing field.
Oh, okay. Fair. Yeah, that's why I said spiritual pressure. Anyway, that the show really concludes on a cliffhanger because after the fight with Aktagawa, and we get to find out how the bounty got onto Atsushi was because of another organization headed by the author of The Great Gatsby. What? Oh, typical British man. Anyway, point being,
You, you're laughing right now, but I swear to God, when you watch season 2, you won't be laughing.
I know. But the thing is, he definitely. I know how he's gonna how he's going to act. I'm very curious about his ability, the Great Gatsby. But we don't get to face off against him in the end of the season, which is the last two episodes.
We get the
We get to
face
face
off.
off
We
his
get the
subordinate.
face off. Lucy.
Yes, Lucy M. I haven't looked up her name yet, but if I do, I probably will find her works. And she puts everyone in the thing is her ability was sort of reminiscent of another ability I'm thinking of in a different anime.
Oh, wait. It just came to mind. Black Clover. You know the peacock, the head of the peacock guild. She has the ability as well.
Oh no, well, sort of, but the thing is, he brings paintings to life. Is that guy right? Who brings
No, no, no,
paintings
no,
to
no.
life?
No, she sleeps. She sleeps all the
Oh
time.
yes, the because she's asleep, and then when she wakes up, she takes them to a different dimension, right? Something like that.
Yeah, to her sleep world.
To a sleep world, yeah. Okay, something similar to that. And the interaction here was very fast and quick as they try to figure out how to defeat this new enemy, which was fun at the very end of the show. But then we just end after we get introduced to the leader of Port Mafia, Mori
But but one
Oiga. Huh?
that's true. But I have reservations with her abilities. Like the
Mm,
ability, you can forget everything when you like when you leave the ability. Okay,
mm, mm,
so when she nulled the ability herself,
mm.
does actually she really remembered how what happened? Because when he went up to her, he was like, "Hello, ma'am, are you okay?" he thinks of her like another bystander.
You know, he did. He knows who she was. He was just saying, if there's anything I can do, can I help or something like that? Because he's sort of like the main character, goody two shoes type.
Again, that's so annoying because everybody comes up and says like, you have it all, you have it all. I'm like,
Yeah. Then
I'm
again,
like,
he doesn't. They don't know him. He doesn't know them either. They're expressing their anger towards him, and he doesn't know why. That's what I'm getting. Because Akutagawa hates him for some reason, and she hates him, and he doesn't even know why
nah,
they both hate him.
I hate him because he took Dazai away from him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know that.
Dazai is nice.
He doesn't know
No, no,
that
no.
yet either. He doesn't
Yeah,
know
she
that.
doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. They
She
hate
doesn't.
him, and he doesn't know why they hate him. So I kind of feel bad for the guy. Because
But
this.
at the same time, when the girl is displaced, she's like, I've been working all day in the orphanage. He had it rough in the orphanage. They locked
Mhm.
him up in a cage. They beated him and everything.
That we
I mean,
don't
you
know
were just
yet.
doing.
Again, we only get like glimpses of them yelling at him. They will probably elaborate in season two. They didn't show enough of the
No,
backstory.
no, no, no. Yelling. Asushi even tells that
Yeah,
my
but
life in the orphanage was like living hell.
yeah, but like
Worse
we
than this.
don't know that.
They don't.
See, we don't know that
It's
yet.
not. Shown.
They don't show
It's
that.
not shown in. It's not shown in season two, neither season three. I'm just giving my own preview into it.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
like when they say the analogy hell, I was thinking like, dude, they say him yelling at him. They say not giving him food and all those things.
Mm?
You did all the chores. You only did chores. That's all you did.
Yeah,
You
but she.
complain the guy.
Yeah, I know, but she doesn't know that again. He was about to say the same thing. He was about to tell her, no, I've been through worse. But she didn't listen, right? That's the whole thing. She didn't listen.
Then what's the way with the face was made? It's kind of like I don't know. It was like they took the scene directly to her face and made the eyes wobbly, like one in the other direction, one in the other direction. It's like, what the fuck was this scene?
Oh, okay. Is that camera angle where they look like directly up at the camera, and then when anime characters about to get serious? Have you seen that meme? When anime characters about to get serious and they look like that.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're trying to do, but just make it look really crazy, I guess. Anyway, that was the end of the first season of Bungo Stray Dogs. Oh, literally Stray Dogs. My rating for this season, not episode, but the season would be. I
Wait,
give it.
let's just say I give the rating first, so that
Okay, go
so I
ahead. Go
don't
ahead.
become a bias.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Give
I'll
give
give
the
it a
rating.
5. I'll give it a 5.
5. Okay, that's interesting. Elaborate on why you give a 5. Just a short elaboration on why you give it a
Okay, so
5.
season 1 is not a really good. In a simple way, it's not the pickle. It's like the epitome of the entire series. It's just all backed up. As you watch the series onwards, you'll understand it's so much good. In short words, that's all I can say.
Mm. The rest of the series is better than this first season. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna actually give it a 6, like I gave 86 in our first episode. The reason I'm giving it a 6 and not a 5 or a 7 is simply because um the anime was interesting to watch. I would watch another season, but I'm only gonna give the other season 3 episodes before I decide whether to drop it or not. However, the reason is the 3 episodes that did nothing for the show, and them and the padding out in certain sections, which didn't really need to be there. You could have done it a little better. He's right. And
Mm.
another reason why I dropped it from, I was going to give it a 7 immediately, but then I dropped it to a 6 is because that scene, which didn't make any sense of him pressing the button. Why did you press the button, Atsushi? Why did he press the button, author? He doesn't explain that
There are
either.
5 things.
Hmm?
Exactly. There are 5 things that I would say that's wrong with it. Number one, the power thing. You explain the
Yes,
power,
they
but
do.
not
They
used in a way.
Yeah, thing is, the powers are sort of. I imagine I'm thinking it of like that in that way, where
Mm.
it's just an extra ability added on your normal capabilities as a human. So they don't get superhuman levels. They just a little extra to it. You know what I mean? In the
Yeah,
beginning,
and
at
the
least,
mm,
that's what it seems like. Because
in
they
the
can still be shot down with guns.
exactly. The second thing is the borderline between comedy and seriousness. It didn't
Yeah.
have a strict way to do it.
Yes.
The
It.
third reason
Mm,
was the relationship was going too fast. We didn't know why the
yeah.
relationship was going this way. It
Yes. It
some
was.
scenes
It
were
was.
off, some scenes.
Some were good, some were bad. Like I do not hate any of the characters. I like all of them. They're interesting to watch. But
Then the
again,
fourth,
hmm?
hmm,
So you go ahead.
yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
speak.
No, no, I was gonna say, but the show itself moves too fast with them. They did give a lot of characterization to Kunikida and Dazai and Atsushi together in that 3 episodes. It didn't matter, but the rest of the characters are all very interesting. I like Rampo. I like Dazai and Kunikida Doppo. I like all of these guys. They are all interesting to watch, but the story itself was too quick and too like it's too quick and too long at the same time because they pad it out with a lot of episodes. Is what I would say. That's why I give it a 6.
Yeah, yeah. So the same reason like Kayum is like Nin is saying this thing. In my opinion, the pacing was like I said, it's better than 86, but it's not better than 86.
Yeah,
It was just too
no,
off for me.
the pacing in 86
For
is
me,
not really that good. Anyway,
it's not good. I said it's not good. The
no,
pacing for this show is good, but not that good,
not that
in
good.
my opinion.
Mm.
But like again, I'll say 86 is 5, in my opinion. I don't
Oh,
like that much
so
of 86.
so you dropped 86 to 5 from 6.
Yes, I've dropped it to 5.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
after watching it, I dropped it to 5. And then the last reason I would give it is because I think they didn't dwell in the story arcs quite much. Like
Mm,
there's a lot of loopholes in the story arc. Like for example,
yeah,
with
plot
Jorichiro and his
holes,
sister,
plot holes, not loopholes.
Jorichiro with his sister,
Mm,
Kunikida, and many others. There were so many plot holes. I think if they could address that, it would make a
mm.
good story.
Yes. I mean, I know it might be different in the second seasons. That's what I'm saying. I'll give the second season 3 episodes to interest me. If it doesn't, we're going to drop it. By the way,
You're,
guys,
you're gonna drop.
the 2 people that are listening, we did decide last week to watch Durarara, and we changed to do Bungo Stray Dogs. The reason is Durarara takes a very long time to get into, and yes, it's interesting, but it's it was not doing for me. I watched 3 episodes. I gave it 3 episodes, and it wasn't doing enough for me. It needs to do a
Okay,
little bit more.
let,
That's
let
why.
me be honest with you. Dora was as simple as a book. I mean, how should I say this? You literally gave away the entire piece of the freaking story in just 10 episodes. I'm just saying it. There's no need to watch the rest of the series because you already know what the story is going to be. It's already
Okay.
clear in 10 episodes.
Okay. I'll see. I'll watch a little bit more
No,
and
no,
see.
I'm being honest.
Mm.
I'm being honest. They gave away the entire. Number one is the entire thing, the
Yeah, that's why
names of the.
that's why I'm gonna go to the 10th episode and see what you mean. That's what I'm saying. And if I continue that, I'll see. Anyway,
Then, other than that, one other thing with Dorara was that they gave the names of characters. That was the thing because when you give the names of the characters, it was like a clear red flag down
okay.
then and there.
Okay. Well, that's another day for another story.
That's
Anyway,
that's
next week we're going to be doing another One Piece podcast. We're going to be discussing new arcs. I don't know which ones yet. We'll just discuss it between me and Last. So,
I,
thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Last has a TikTok. What's your TikTok name?
Wacky Ash.
Well, what? Say again. What's your TikTok?
It's Wacky and Ash. The syllables of my name, ASH Ash. That's the
Uh
only thing I came up.
Wacky Ash, not bad. Okay, and I'm also going to be doing another podcast. It will be on this channel as well. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you all enjoyed listening to me and Laz ramble on and on about an anime that is 10 years old at this point. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and have a good day. Bye.
Bye.